The key question I'm asking today, and will seek responses from all of you, is whether or not Australia is a country that is independent from the United States and Israel. If it is possible for us to make decisions about how we wish to govern our own country and the impact that that governance may have on our involvement in the rest of the world. So at the moment, the Australian government is fully behind Israeli and the United States attack on Iran. Now, I'm the first to admit, and I suppose there's many people around the world who will support this particular notion, and that is that the Iranian government, the Khomeini, the leader in Iran, are evil, terrible, anti-humanitarian people. Their demise is something that none of us will be shedding a tear over. However, we need to be mindful of the fact that this particular war has not necessarily got a plan to end. That whichever way we look at this, it will be probably a protracted war that will have an an ill-defined ending. So, and of course, at the moment, sitting here wondering how this is all going to work out, we do not know. No one knows. What we do know is that Albanese government has chosen to side with Israel and with the United States. Now, one at one level can understand why the government might have chosen to do this, and that is that they see the United States as an important ally in the Pacific. The other reason is that I think they are sycophantic to the causes propagated by Israel and the United States, particularly the Zionist version of Israel. And while this war is going on, people are forgetting about what's happened in Gaza, the 60,000 plus deaths that have occurred there, and that we turned a blind eye to the fact that Israel and the United States have bombed a school, a girls' school, in fact, in Iran, which has killed some 110 students. And I guess that is emblematic of what's happening in this conflict, that lots of innocent lives will be taken. And I ask, for what reason? The argument is that Iran was going to build or were in the process of enriching uranium to the point where it could be used in nuclear weapons. Now, and I said this in a post, and I don't wish to reiterate myself either, but I did say this in a recent post that Trump had declared that that particular program was obliterated. But there again, Trump lies all the time. Yet we as a country tend to go along with whatever it is that Israel and particularly the United States tell us is the appropriate narrative. And we need to make sure that we are, I guess, at least expressing some independence around all of that. Albanese could have chosen to make statements that were less conciliatory to the United States and to Israel, and more about the importance of Australia as an independent nation, being able to make decisions that are independent of the narrative presented by those two countries. However, they haven't. And there have been some pushback about all of this. And I guess it places us all in a no-win situation to some extent. Because on one hand, we agree that the Iran leadership is a terrible leadership and needs to be eradicated. We also need to understand that in this process that the United States and Israel have now undertaken will kill thousands and thousands of innocent people. And for some bizarre reason, that seems to be okay. There has been some pushback against all of this, though. And we see it in this particular comment here. It was reported on the ABC. Albanese's backing of Israel and US attacks on Iran shows that we are completely devoid of acting independently from Trump and Netanyahu. There was a time when Labor pursued peace, not war. That time is long gone. Leadership needed not sycophantic capitulation to militarism, he posted on X. And I think this is referring to Doug Cameron, yes. The government has also copped flack from the Greens, with Defence spokesman David Shoebridge posting online that Australia's support of Trump and Netanyahu's illegal attack is disgraceful. Cameron may no longer be in the parliament, but his comments are shared by some current politicians from Labor's left flank who find it difficult to stomach any support of the conflict. And I certainly support that particular notion. The fact that there is no legal justification for what they've done. There was a position that the Iranians took at one particular point whereby they were prepared to negotiate these issues, but clearly that wasn't enough for Trump. The point is that Trump needs to ingratiate himself to the rest of the MAGA movement by suggesting that war is a good thing, even though there was a point whereby he told the MAGA movement that going to war was not really on his agenda. However, that has changed. Trump is a warmonger, and we have to fall in line with him, apparently. And my version is that that is wrong. There are other alternatives that could have been taken. Diplomatic negotiations is probably the most obvious of those, but nevertheless, that was dismissed by the United States president, who decided that he needed to demonstrate that he was a strong man, and the only way he could demonstrate that is to attack another country. And I believe he was pushed into this by Benjamin Netanyahu, who's now vacated Israel and sent himself to Germany. An effort, I think, to avoid any attacks that might be directed directly at him. Trump is also a coward, and we need to understand his degree of cowardice. He has not appeared in front of the cameras in relation to any press conference since he's launched this attack. He knows that this is not going to be popular with the MAGA movement. He knows that he'll be questioned about this and will not have the answers from journalists. He knows that this is likely to turn out badly, even though he's hoping that a quick eradication of the Iranian regime will bring about some sort of change of government. This is unlikely, but nevertheless, it is a risk that he has taken, and the risk that the Australian government has taken to side with them, with the United States and Israel, is going to be detrimental to the Labor government here in Australia. The Labor government's got enough to worry about in terms of one nation and where politics is heading in this country. This is just another way by which they can shoot themselves in the foot. I'll be interested to know what you think about all this. I'm going to do a post later on, which is about the comments section in my feed, which has been interesting, to say the least. And I hope that all of you will decide to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. Let me know what you think. Remember, it doesn't cost you anything, because this particular issue is important, and it's important that we have a conversation about it.